I want to talk to you a little bit about the Mojo Team. They were actually established in 2005. Morgan and Josh, you can see their faces there, have literally over 30 years of combined experience. It's hard. They're so young looking, like it's hard to believe that it's over 30 years, but it is 30 years. They have been awarded Realty One Group's highest achievement for the last 6 consecutive years. They were named Team of the Year by Arizona School of Real Estate and Business. They were named the top team by Phoenix Business Journal Book of Lists, which is very impressive. And both Morgan and Josh are licensed brokers and in the top 5% producers in the Valley. So lots of great information you're going to glean from these guys today. Let me just tell you a little bit about their stats. Year-to-date sales. Are you guys ready? Like, are you ready for this? Okay, I'm hoping I'm going to get this in the right, bracket here. $104,217,754,000. Oh my God. So that's whoop, whoop, incredible. Their Q4 sales volume so far, because we're not even through Q4, we got like a couple weeks left. So I'm sure there's some closings in there. They are at about 18 million, almost not projected. Am I seeing a projection of 25 million? I think that's where we're headed with that. Right now pending, they've got another 12 million pending. So that's how we get to that number. So that's pretty amazing. They are actually growing very rapidly, and we are excited to hear directly from Morgan and Josh today with their tips and tricks on how to keep the momentum of your real estate business going into 2022. So before I let them take it away, I just want to give you some housekeeping rules here. We want to make sure that you guys keep your mics muted. We will do a Q&A afterwards, after they've kind of gone through their presentation as well as their market remarks. So just go ahead and you can put your questions in the chat box, and then we'll go back through and read them. And then just to let you know a little bit about Rock Title, we're very excited to be able to sponsor this today. We are a very, very fast growing title company here in the state of Arizona, as well as in Nevada. We have 3 offices across the Valley. I have a wonderful sales team. A couple of them are on the call, and I would love to have an opportunity to meet with you, show you what we can do, and earn your business. But now we're going to go ahead and dive in and get some gold today. Morgan and Josh, take it away.
Thank you so much, Dia. Rock is a great partner of ours. Let me just tell you guys, they are not just a super fast growing title company. They are definitely in it to win it when it comes to customer service, when it comes to helping you with your business. We've been partnered up with Rock for some time now, and it's been huge for us. They really just are, they know that they think like agents think. And they think growth. They think about all those little things that they can do to really help propel you. So yeah, we love working with Rock Title, and certainly have our strongest endorsement there.
And we don't even have that written down on our sheet. That was just that was just Morgan living there. Yeah, no, absolutely.
That's awesome.
We obviously love you, Dia. And
thank you. I really appreciate it. We love you guys too.
A great escrow officer over there. But anyways, we've got so much great content for you guys. Just to give you a quick little background about ourselves, if you don't know who we are, we do run a team here out of Realty One Group called the Mojo Team. Morgan and I, we met in real estate school almost 18 years ago now, and have grown our business, grown our team. We have an awesome team. We kind of run it like a family. We've got the best agents on our team. But everything that we're going to share with you guys today, it's all stuff that we put into practice that has led to our success, that we do, every day, every week. And it's all stuff that we coach and mentor our teammates on, and it's all stuff that really works. So that being said, let's get into it.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, just before we get started on that note, as we all know, real estate can be kind of a solo operation, or really feel that way, but it doesn't have to be. There's other like-minded individuals to work with, and we found that teaming up so many years ago, and just had built it and built this team slowly, but it's been really a game changer for us and our sales, but also our agents who work with us. So we think that there's so much really that goes unsaid about kind of keeping that momentum and camaraderie and everything else that you get when you are with a powerful team of people around you. So like I said, we just wanted to kind of put this on. We know that, first off, great job on 2021. Everybody out there, we think for most of you new or experienced agents, we assume that for most of you, it's been one of, if not your best years ever in the business. So congratulations on that. Congratulations on all your hard work and success this year.
Yeah, it's been an amazing 2021, and our goal of this presentation is to take that momentum and push it into 2022, because once again, guys, we don't have a crystal ball. We don't know what 2022 is going to look like. We'll share some predictions with you, but we definitely want to take all that success and continue to keep rolling it in and growing on that success.
Yeah, certainly. So we all know that, homes have sold. Their homes are sold faster than ever before, and they're selling for more money than ever before. And that, in light of that, total sales throughout Arizona are up considerably. Most agents out there have really had their best year ever this year in 2021. And really since that COVID crash back in April, May, we all know that the Arizona market and others got shot out of a cannon, and it's just been running full steam ahead ever since. And 2021 and the numbers from this year, really going to show. We also want to say, we really think while 2022 is going to be another banner year, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be the same year that it was in 2021. We think there's going to be some things that are going to factor in for 2022, maybe to pump the brakes a little bit. We don't all have a crystal ball, but just looking at 2022, we know that you're going to have to work a little bit harder.
Yeah. Obviously we had about 30% appreciation over the last year. We're not going to see that again this year. We'll probably see 10, 12% appreciation. But once again, if if the stock market crashes, if something catastrophic happens, that certainly could put a halt to that prediction of the appreciating market in 2022. So
yeah, and some of the things to think about for 2022, Josh and I are always looking ahead at some of these other things and what may impact real estate business as a whole. And so, as we dive more into it, just a few things to be aware of, you may not have been aware of. So currently, right now in 2021, our mix of buyers is made up by 8% iBuyers, 8% are corporate investors, and 18% of our current buyers are coming from out of state. So that's over 30% of the current buyer demand that could shift on a dime. It could go, in just a couple of months, there could be something that comes up that really makes a lot of these either corporate buyers, iBuyers, making up, 16%, and those out-of-state buyers. So our market is subjective to some outside forces that could really impact it when you've got over 30% of our buyers are not local. Another item that might impact us in 2021 is that, so in quarter 3, 12% of all homes sold that sold to an iBuyer. So that's just a stat from quarter 3 of last year. So over 10% of the listings are not listings at all. They're going to iBuyers.
And that's without a real estate agent involved.
Yeah, correct. So you don't have a realtor in there that's taking that potential deal out of the pipeline for us agents. Another one is the build to rent movement is really catching steam, and it's really ground zero here in Phoenix. Currently, there's already 5,000 single family homes that were built specifically to be rented. And there's another 6,900 that are permitted and planned for construction. So again, like Josh said, those are transactions, those are potential home sales, home buyers who are being removed from the potential buyer pool as this build to rent and that rental market. There's no real estate agent involved on any of those transactions or any side of that. So that's another thing that could potentially impact us.
Yeah, and obviously with rising home prices, affordability is a big issue. And also with rising interest rates in 2022, we know it's all coming. We don't know exactly what quarter it's going to come in or how fast it's going to come, but we know that it's these things that are going to also affect how many buyers there are, what the demand looks like, and naturally supply should increase in 2022.
So honestly, when we look ahead at 2022, it's not smooth sailing, all systems go when it comes to real estate agents and doing deals and everything else. That affordability thing is really catching up with us already, and going forward next year. I know you guys have clients who would sell their house and would move up, but they don't know where they're going to go. They don't know what they're going to buy. And that's something we deal with all the time. So, when you look at that big picture and you really take it all in, what are some of the things you can do to ensure you have a successful 2022? That's what we want to get into.
Yep. Yeah, we want to keep that momentum going. So once again, 2021, probably your best year ever if you're a seasoned agent. If you're a newer agent coming into the business, hopefully you got a deal or two underneath your belt and you want to roll that momentum into 2022. With that being said, the number one thing that you have to have right is your mindset. And first off, on that mindset category, you got to figure out what is your why. Why do you want to be a real estate agent? Why do you want to sell more property? Why do you want to do more deals? Why do you want to make X number of dollars? Why it's really important to know what your why is. And the reason why it's important to know your why is that it's the purpose that will drive you to achieve during both good times and bad, especially during periods of struggle.
Yep. When it comes to mindset, take that first 5 minutes of what we said all the negatives were and throw them out. They should be reasons to drive you to improve. They should be the things that say, okay, I know the potential challenges, but I'm going to overcome them. That's kind of thing, don't let those negative things bog you down. Let them push you forward.
Yeah. And that's number 2 on the list, positive thinking. There are some great books on Amazon. If you're a negative Nancy out there, I'm really sorry, but you got to get your mind right.
Sorry, Nancy.
Yeah, there's some great books on Amazon, like The Power of Positive Thinking. Great book, has great reviews. I definitely check it out. But there's a bunch of other books on there too that you can get. One thing that we've done is we do a gratitude journal, just a daily gratitude journal, kind of writing down one thing that you find positive in the day or something that you're really grateful for. That can completely change the whole working of your mind there. So that's something extremely important is having that positive mindset 2022.
Yep. And honestly, with these first 2 things, guys, if you think they're hokey, if you think it's like, oh yeah, I've heard that before, they literally are 2 of the biggest game changers you can put in place. As much as anything else, if you can wake up each day, get your mind right, positive attitude, know that you will, move forward and crush that day, it literally will have a huge impact. Mm-hmm. Believe it.
One thing that my wife and I do, we do a daily meditation on the Calm app. You can actually download the Calm app. I know we talked about this with our team members before, but it's awesome. My wife and I, we incorporated this into our life about 3 months ago, and I have never slept better in my life. We go to bed with a 10-minute meditation, daily meditation every single night. We're not looking at our phones. We're not watching TV or whatever. And it's a great way to kind of tune out and rezone and refocus and then drift off to sleep. And then the next morning, same thing. You can start your day with a 5 or 10 or 15-minute meditation. And it's a great way to kind of get the positive energy flowing and get your mind ready and geared up for that day.
Yeah, it definitely is. And, there's a lot of things too with blue light and having that blue light right before bedtime. If you want to sleep a little better, put the phone away, before you go to bed, spend a little time away from the phone, not, looking at it right before you lay down, and it'll really help with easing your mind into sleep.
Mm-hmm. And another thing that's on the list that we completely believe in, and same thing, game changer, we've always been readers.
Yeah.
But something that we really hammered down and something that we've really incorporated into our business probably about 3 to 5 years ago is reading books, listening to podcasts, watching, great videos. Doesn't just have to be real estate related, doesn't just have to be business related. It could be anything informative, educational, something, once again, something positive. Don't spend an hour watching the news. In fact, if you're watching the news, just shut it off. That should be your goal for 2022. No watching the news.
There's so much free content and really infotainment out there. But you've got, Gary Keller has an amazing podcast, The One Thing, that gets into a lot of different, real estate topics, but also just life topics too. So there really is, if you take some of those positive attitude books, some business books, replace it within maybe your drive time or other times there, it's really going to help you kind of keep that momentum and keep the energy up and keep your focus when it is time to prospect a little further, when you're maybe a little run down and you're not sure if you're going to make that last call of the day or not. So these are some of the things that we've done and our team members have done that have really helped them, push over that hump and just keep things rolling.
And if you're not a reader, go on Audible, download a book and you can listen to it in your car. Morgan and I, we don't read a lot, but we will spend 15 minutes driving into work, listening to an Audible, and then 15 minutes driving home. Anywhere we go, if we're going to go out and meet clients up in North Scottsdale, we have a 20-minute drive ahead of us, we'll put an Audible on, or once again, you can subscribe to YouTube, and where you don't actually have to have the video going. You can shut the video off and you can just listen to it on your car, on your Bluetooth. Once again, these are all great things that you can do to gain all this extra knowledge and information and really get your mind right for the coming up year.
Yep, definitely. We're always trying to squeeze a few extra minutes in the day, and sometimes time to sit down and pick up a book isn't there, but these days we have some great technology to help with that. So moving forward, some of the other things that we really believe strongly in. Of course, when you've got this going and everything, you want to put forth and set out some goals. Take a look at what you did in 2021. Look forward to what you're going to do in 2022. The number one thing, they've got to be written down. You've got to put them down and where you can look at them, review them and everything.
And these aren't just business goals. These could be personal goals, any goals. If you haven't already started thinking around your goals for 2022, you're a little bit late. I know we're in December, but we have 2 weeks left. Start doing it right now. You want to hit the ground running in 2022. So you want to think of your personal goals, your business goals, get them all down on paper. Like Morgan said, write them down. They've got to be specific. They've got to be time sensitive. They've got to be measurable. They've got to be meaningful. They've got to be buildable. If you don't quite understand maybe exactly what I'm saying on this, or you want a little bit more help, we've got an amazing goal setting sheet that we can share with you. You just have to reach out to Dana. She'll get a copy of that over to you, and we'll share Dana's information with you here at the end.
Yeah, and part of that, they really are impactful. It gives you something to focus on, and really when you break it down, get specific into some of your daily goal or daily plan and what you're going to put together on that note. And another major item on our list is make a plan. Make a plan. When you have goals, if you just have goals without a plan, you're destined to not fulfill and reach those goals.
Yeah, what do they say? A goal without a plan is a dream. A plan without action is, well, I've heard people say it's a lie. I've heard people say it's a speech. But definitely, guys, yes, having a goal is great, but if you don't put any sort of plan together to achieve that goal, then once again, it's only a dream. Maybe you'll get there, maybe you won't, but you have no way of actually kind of figuring out whether or not you're going to get there. You might kind of do one of these to try and figure out how you finally get to the end. But you definitely want to have a plan. And when we say plan, we're talking about a quarterly plan, a monthly plan, a weekly plan, and even a daily plan.
Yeah. Each time within there too. You want to, part of planning is time blocking and really having that set into your day so you know what time you plan to prospect during the day.
Yeah, I would say time blocking is probably one of the most difficult things to do. I know I have challenges with it, but I try to keep a great calendar. I try to go in every single day. I'm constantly looking at my calendar. I'm constantly updating my calendar and going in and putting in, when we say time blocking, you want to time block time to check emails, time to, get back to phone calls, time to prospect, time to meet with clients, everything that's really important, but you want to get that on your calendar, even time to just take a break, time to eat lunch, get all of that onto your calendar. And that's something that will drastically change your business next year.
100%.
All right. Well, next on our list is accountability. You've got to be accountable. If you've got your goals and you have your plan, now you need someone that's going to basically help you through that plan and make sure that you're hitting every step along the way.
Yeah, there's many different ways to be accountable, but having an accountability partner that's outside of yourself really is key in these things, because we can always make excuses, reasons why this didn't happen or that didn't, but whether it's a coach, a mentor, someone outside of yourself, you need someone there to help you be accountable to your goals and your dreams.
Yeah, someone who can guide you, keep you on track, someone that truly wholeheartedly believes in your success and wants you to be successful. It could be a friend or a family member. We don't necessarily recommend that, just because, sometimes, maybe you're not getting the tough love that you need. So I would challenge you, find another real estate agent. It's ideal to have someone in the business that understands the business and understands the daily workings of the business. And so if you don't have that person, go and find them. If there's lots of, great mentors and coaches out there too. It's something that Morgan and I, we've had coaches for the last 10 years now.
Yeah.
And it is something that has just propelled our business in the most amazing direction.
Yeah, a lot of people leave that out. And I mean, you're self-employed, you're running your own, real estate business, but at the same time, having someone that helps hold you accountable, or does, that holds you accountable on a regular basis is really key. It's so easy to just put out fires all day, or do that one, consistently do the thing that's right in front of you, and easily lose sight of, your prospecting and those other follow-up activities, those things that are going to keep your pipeline full and keep you busy in the coming months.
Yeah, and you can't just rely on motivation. Motivation's great. We love motivation, but commitment's even stronger. And the best way to kind of describe that is that if you rely strictly on motivation, it's like waking up every single morning and kind of seeing how you feel, look outside, look out the window, see if it's rainy or sunny, and, is it a cold day or a hot day? And you're using, do I feel motivated to go to the gym today? Well, most of us probably don't, but if you're committed to going to the gym, if you've set your alarm, if you've already in your mind have made the decision that no matter what, when that alarm goes off, I'm getting up, I'm going to the gym, and you're committed, you're going to hit your goals, you're going to hit your plan, you're going to hit all the steps along the way to make yourself successful.
Yeah, motivation comes and goes, commitment stays.
Absolutely. Next on the list is leveraging your time. This is, once again, extremely important, especially for those who are seasoned agents. If we all have the same amount of hours in the day, but there are definitely certain activities that we should not be doing.
Yeah, if you're a seasoned solo agent, you've got to understand that there's going to be a cap on the number of transactions that you can physically do in a given year, in a given month,
without burning out. You can run yourself rampant, but if you burn out at the end of the year, then it's all for nothing. So, in order to figure out what are some of those activities, the best way to do it is take what you made last year, divide it by 2,000 hours, which is basically, if you figured 40 hours a week times 50 weeks a year, because we figured 2 weeks of vacation. I know we all take more than that, but that comes out to 2,000 hours. You divide that, or you take what you made last year, divide it by 2,000. That will give you your hourly rate. And then if there's tasks like,
it's going to be higher than you think.
It's going to be higher than you think, but there's going to be certain tasks out there that, scheduling home inspectors, or putting together a flyer, or, there's so many little.
Yeah, like proofing the flyer.
Yeah. Sending over paperwork, transaction coordination.
Uploading your paperwork on the back end of your broker system. All of these different things, getting another initial on a document.
These are all things that you can literally hand off to somebody else. And most likely, These are all things that we don't like doing. As salespeople, we don't like doing all like the detailed stuff. And so we should be handing this stuff off to somebody who is much more efficient at it, who's better at it, who likes doing it, where that way we can focus on the things that we do love doing and the things that we do enjoy, which is selling, meeting people, making connections, spending more time with our family and our kids and whatnot. And so
there's a myriad of other things within that time, that just better ways that you could be spending with your time than doing that. So
absolutely. So you've got to figure out a way how to leverage your time. So maybe you're thinking about hiring that next assistant, or maybe hiring someone out to do your marketing or social media or whatnot. Whatever it is, you've got to start leveraging your time. That's going to, take a lot of stuff off your plate and give you a lot more time to get out there and do the things that you love.
Yeah. And you really, when you're working through your plan for the year and you're time blocking it and you're doing other things, take a look at the number of hours you have either committed in the years past or in the years future towards doing paperwork, towards doing some of these lower dollar cost generating activities. You want to spend the majority of your time, or your price time, focus on those dollar generating activities, the things that are actually going to bring in new transactions, new deals, negotiating contracts, writing contracts, prospecting for new leads. Those are the things that are actually going to where you're going to make money and your dollar per hour goes way up. But if you're spending your time, slugging around doing paperwork, your dollar per hour is just going to go down, down, down.
And if you need more time in the day, wake up an hour earlier. I know it sounds kind of crazy. Maybe you love to sleep in or whatever, but I'm telling you, I know we do it. And I started waking up, and maybe do it slowly. I'm going to wake up 15 minutes earlier. You do that for a week. And then I'm going to wake up, 30 minutes earlier. You do that for a week and you kind of stair step it down. But if you can wake up just an hour earlier and get one more hour in the day, no matter what you do with that hour, whether you go to the gym or you go hiking or you, come in and you start prospecting early, whatever that is, just getting that time back is so important. Yeah. So that's a little,
especially in the day.
That's a little life hack right there that we should all be doing. And last but not least, prospecting. If you're, most of us, especially seasoned agents, we're all out there, looking for new leads, prospecting and whatnot. You're going to want to maybe crank that up just a little bit in 2022, just because once again, we don't know what the market's going to look like. And we're going to want to just fill that pipeline as much as we possibly can. So you're going to want to crank that up. You're going to want to figure out what that looks like. Right now, you should figure out how much time a day you spend or how many hours a week you spend prospecting. Right now, we always recommend 2 to 3 hours. You want to time block that into your calendar. Those are probably some of the most important hours out of the day. And whether it's making phone calls, door knocking, doing open houses, whatever, it's something you've got to do.
And for Josh and I too, I know not everybody does this, but we lump in follow-up into that prospecting general term, because literally the fortune is in the follow-up. That's such a great quote, and it's so true, because it really is the following up. We've all reached out. We've all made a great connection with someone, but maybe they're not ready to buy for 3 to 6 months. It's not easy to stay in front of them for that 3 to 6 months and ensure you're the one. It is, though, if you have a strong follow-up plan in place, and when you're prospecting, you make sure to reach back out and touch those people who you've connected with before. It's like a plant, it needs consistent watering. You can't just throw a seed in the ground and show back up and wonder where your flower or your corn is. You need to stop by and water it all the time, maybe weed little weeds around it. You've got to continuously nurture and grow that plant so that when it is ripe or time to go. And so that follow-up is really key. And some agents kind of forget about it. They think that once that I've had a great conversation. I've had a great conversation with this person. John from Kentucky would never use anybody else but me. He's talked to me. I mean, they have kind of that mentality.
We hit it off at the open house.
Yeah, we hit it off. They were great. But the reality is that there are 60,000 other agents. They could trip over a stone and run into one in the valley. They will forget your name after 30 days or more go by. Without consistent and intentional follow-up, you're going to lose them.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many deals we've lost over the years from people that we just
Took for granted.
Yeah,
we took the connection for granted.
Yeah, we took the connection for granted. That's the perfect way to say it. We just didn't follow up the right way, or as consistently or as much as we should have. And we believe wholeheartedly to this day that we'd rather over follow up and over connect with somebody than not enough. Because the last thing you want to do is call them up and they're like, oh yeah, you know what, John, or you know what, yeah, I did buy, last month.
I'm under contract right now.
I'm under contract right now. That's the worst feeling in the entire world.
Yeah.
So, the more follow up, the better. And if you end up upsetting someone and they tell you to never call them again, that's okay. You know what? That's probably someone you don't want to work with. Probably weren't going to hit it off with them anyways. Most likely weren't going to even sell them a house. So don't worry about those people. It's the people that actually really appreciate the follow up. I mean, every single week or every single month, I hear from someone who's like, oh my God, thank you so much for following up with me. I was just thinking about you last week and I meant to call you, but I didn't, yada, yada. We hear this all the time. And so you want to stay in front of your people.
Yeah.
And the best way to do that is to have a hot list. If you don't have a hot list, we have got a great spreadsheet. We can also, we're happy to share that with you guys too. But you should have a running hot list of active prospects that you can touch base with and follow up with on a consistent manner.
Yeah, you really want to build a moat around your people, those deals that you're looking at, your future prospects and that. And the best way to do it is by letting them know that you are there for them every step along the way. And the best way to do that is to consistently stay in touch with them through following up.
So
we've looked through. Go ahead. You were going to say.
No, something. I was just going to say, yeah. So we want to give you guys something that you can take away today. Something that, I mean, we've got lots of stuff. Once again, we're an open book. We're happy to share with anyone and everyone out there. It just that's actually one of the reasons why we started a team, is because we realized we had so much information that we'd love to share that with other people. We remember where we were when we started off in the business, and even after 3 years in the business or 5 years in the business, we realized there's still a lot of stuff that we don't know. Yep. And so, but now 18 years later.
And you got to remember too, that what's great is there's so many things, and anyone in real estate who's been in it for a while can tell you that something new comes up on transaction after transaction. Some of them are rhyme, but there's new things to know, and each one is unique and different in its own way. And so, we really combine that experience and that even of our team members to really distill some of these things that work well. Especially working with a lot of agents, whether they're newer agents, seasoned agents who are looking to, go from that 2 to 4 million mark to the 4 to 8 million mark. And that's really been a big thing too, because there's some of you out there that are working with things and it's going well. I mean, you're in it. It's a career for you, and you're doing a lot of the right activities. But you just can't seem to get over maybe that $5 million mark each year. And so little tweaks, little things in the business and a big one with leveraging really can help you in that time. So
sometimes there's a good kick in the pants.
Yeah. And other things too. But so Josh and I know when you tune in, it's good to have something you can take home and put into practice right away with things like that when you come to something like this. And so that's a big reason, we look and put together something we do here.
Yeah. So this is something we call our daily plan. This is something that we just started doing recently. This actually came from our coaches. Mm-hmm. We every quarter, Morgan and I, we meet with agents or team leaders from across the country, and we mastermind and share different ideas and whatnot. Anyways, it's the daily plan. It's extremely important. I mean, we, in a funny and kind of like in a way, we did this plan and have been doing this plan for a long time, but they put it maybe a little bit more structured.
So I wanted to share that with you too. So, really something to think about though, when you sit down. I mean, this is really a 15-minute exercise at the end of the day, but there's some just general topics to kind of think around as we get into this. What does winning the day look like for you? What does winning the day look like for you? For us, winning equals managing your thoughts, your energy, your time, and your money.
Yeah. Yeah, and also, success is guaranteed when priorities are in the right order. And so, you want to make sure that you have your plan, that you're putting together your plan. We're going to go through that here in a second. You may want to write these things down.
Yeah.
But we want to make sure that everyone has a winning day, that everyone wakes up and they know what they're doing, and they can look back at the end of the day and judge whether they won the day or they lost the day, and then can replan for the next day.
Yeah. Success is the predictable result of hard work, sacrifice, and learning put into practice every day.
Yep.
Love that quote.
Is tomorrow going to be something that happens to me, or is it going to be a day that I control?
That's a good something to think about. Is think about this daily plan. Is tomorrow going to be something that happens to me, or will it be a day that I control? Well, how are some ways that you can control and ensure that it's a day that you control and that you win the day? And that's where this daily plan comes in.
Yeah, there's lots of distractions. Every single day we're hit with distractions, especially with having our phones at our hip. But having a plan in place is obviously going to keep that structure and keep you going, so you don't get too far off of that plan.
So we suggest at some point in time during the day, could be the evening, could be later before you go to bed. It could be middle of the day though. You want to spend about 15 minutes and go through this little exercise. Look, as you're planning tomorrow, you're planning the next day. So number one is you want to visualize what you want to accomplish tomorrow. So you want to visualize that next day, think about what you want to accomplish, potentially put a couple lists together.
Number two, see what is on your calendar and prioritize everything that's important. You want to prioritize, reschedule, and condense. So if there's items that are on your calendar for the next day that aren't that important, maybe you just reschedule them for another day that week, or maybe even like a following week. If it's something that's not that important, if it's something that is not going to lead to a win for that day, then just move it.
Yep, or cancel it. If it's something you can get out of and don't have to do, it's not going to have an impact on your day, you can cancel it. But really want to prioritize, make sure that you're going to attack some of the biggest items first.
There's so many things that we say yes to on a daily basis or a weekly basis that don't lead to additional business or us hitting our goals. And it's really important to get clear on what those are. And then once again, just prioritize the things that are important and reschedule everything else.
Yeah. So 3 kind of ties into that. It's make a list of your priorities and organize them in order of what's most important. So as you're visualizing your day, reviewing your calendar, place your priorities in order so that you know what's most important for you to win the day tomorrow.
Number 4, plan what you're going to do for your rituals. And your rituals, that's kind of like all the other things like exercising, hydrating, reading, listening to podcasts, all your meals, your snacks, whatever. Just basically going through and kind of planning out. I have on my calendar every single day when I'm going to eat lunch. I know exactly if I'm going to eat breakfast, which I don't eat breakfast, but if I did, where that was going to go and what time I'm going to be home at night, what time my kids and I and my wife, we eat dinner. So it's important to kind of plan that out. Once again, you don't have to be so darn rigid, but it's good to have an idea of where those things fall into place so you can plan around them.
Yeah, especially. Number 5, create and time block, maybe even set alarms around your rituals or your priorities. So if you want to take 15 minutes after lunch to maybe walk a couple of times around the office or something, put it in your calendar and time block that so you have it, because then you have that organized and you know where your priorities are and how that's going to be impacted from day to day.
Yeah, it's important to take breaks too, guys. Sometimes we get caught up sitting in front of our computer for 2 or 3 hours straight, and it's not A, the most healthy thing to do, but B, like you're becoming less efficient as time goes on. So being able to take even just a 5-minute break, stand up, walk around, stretch, get the blood flowing, get a drink of water, eat a little something, that's going to drastically make you so much more efficient throughout the day. And what you're doing, it's just going to give you better focus on what you're doing.
Yeah, and if you give yourself some time, some organized times to where it's maybe free time or it's a chance, it allows you to focus more on those important tasks because you've set and said, hey, this is the time I'm going to do this. I'm not going to, check my email too much in there because I know that I have already a preset time here in 30 minutes or an hour where I'm going to get back to emails. So it allows you to stay more focused on that task that you're doing.
Yeah, we all think that, oh, I've got to answer the phone, so and so's calling. No, it's okay. You know what? There's unless the house is burning down, there's nothing that is so important that you have to answer your phone right then and there. I mean, there's very few things in life where that's the case. So you want to kind of set your phone aside, put it on mute, and if someone calls, great, let it go to voicemail. Call them back during your scheduled time to make follow-up phone calls. Yeah. It's going to be okay. Same thing with emails. Like there's not an email that comes through where I've got to get back to this person right now. It's okay.
Texts are the worst. And hopefully that person that was calling with the house, they called the fire department first.
Yeah.
Before they called you. Otherwise, I'm just telling them, hey, call the fire department.
Yeah. Number 6.
I can't help.
You are going to commit to sticking with this plan.
Starting
tomorrow, every day. So that's going to be something you're going to have to commit to. It's a daily commitment to sticking with that daily plan. It's once again, this goes back to motivation and everything else.
Think about this. This is a 15-minute exercise. All of us can do it. It really involves envisioning what that win looks like for you tomorrow, putting your big rocks in the bucket first. We've all heard that a lot. And then really mapping out what a successful day, what a win is going to look like for you tomorrow. And then waking up that day, you know what you're aiming to accomplish, you know when and where you're going to do it, and get out there and crush it.
Yeah. All right, guys. I hope that helps with the daily plan. Now we will open this up to questions.
Yeah.
So I'll jump in here and say there's a couple. Someone asked, how often do you think you should speak with a coach, mentor, or accountability partner?
That's a great question. I don't think there's like an exact, it's got to be once a week or once a month or once a quarter. I would say, let me put it this way. At the very minimum, you should be touching base with a coach at least once a quarter minimum. Anything more than a quarter is too long in between. You can get too derailed, and it's going to be a lot harder getting that train back on the track. So at the very, very minimum, once a quarter, I think it's great. If you can speak to them on a daily basis, that's awesome. If you can just get a quick 5-minute, call in the morning that's kind of almost like maybe a, motivational call or whatever.
Yeah. I can see it. I can see it working well for different people for sure. Within our success manager and team manager really reaches out to our team members once a week. And they're a lot of times it's more than that once a week call, but they're talking multiple times. But really, it's a scheduled weekly call to where they can talk about the upcoming goals, wins from the last week, and different things going on. And then there's other touch points. But I would say for best set, if you have a coach, you want to be a minimum once a quarter. Probably more like once a month. Real estate does move a little slower, so it can be a little less often, but for someone to really be, deep into your business, you can go off the rails quite a bit in a couple of months.
Yeah. And I'd probably focus less on those closed sales.
Yeah.
Because once again, you're going to only do, 10 or 20 or 30 deals in a year. So I'd focus maybe less on the actual closed sales and more on the daily actions or the weekly actions that you're doing, for your prospecting.
Yeah, just one last thing, on that is a book Josh and I both love is The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. And really, he just hammers home. It's really about those daily, consistent actions. That's what induces success. That's what gives you success.
Next question.
Let's see. There aren't any other questions in the chat box. I don't know if anybody wants to put something in.
If anyone has a question, feel free to unmute yourself and share it.
Yeah.
Or
You
opinion,
said,
we love opinions too.
yeah, you said something that really resonated with me, and I just want to say this. When you said prioritize, schedule, and condense, that is huge, 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 huge.
Oh,
So I
absolutely.
thank you guys for that. I'm actually going to take that into my future life going forward. That's amazing.
Well,
Like, yeah,
it's,
it's really
it's easy
good.
for us to do all the easy things first. So the things that we
Yeah,
love doing. A lot of us, don't necessarily love, making prospecting phone calls, but we know it's something that has to happen in order to fill that pipeline
And
and
there's,
close deals.
yeah, and there's a lot of, I mean, I hate to say it, but there's a lot of like fluff and junk that gets like put on our calendars. I could schedule 2, 3, 4 weeks out. And when it comes down to that day, you look at it and say, oh, geez, is this something I can even fit into today? So I think definitely trying to really identify, and it also helps you be a little more guarded, a little more mindful of your time. If it's like, hey, I know that I have this hour blocked off for this and that hour blocked off for this. So, I mean, it's now or never, right? To
Yeah.
do some of these other activities.
When also as real estate agents, we get bombarded with phone calls from people, from loan officers that are trying to get our business, or from some new marketing blue pill magic website that's going to produce a bunch of leads. And if we took every single one of those phone calls and listened to every single presentation, we would never sell real estate.
No,
All we do all day long is just listen to people and tell us
you could
why.
endlessly be pitched. But at the same time too, I mean, don't get me wrong, we all have past clients, we all have people, we all need to like continuously reach out and stay in touch. But sometimes text messages, they really, you'd be amazed at how much actual time you spend texting. Sometimes you can lose 20 minutes just in a text conversation talking about whether you're going to bring home chocolate milk or regular milk for dinner. But it's funny, but but texting can eat up a lot of your time.
Oh yeah.
sure. So Rachel had a question. What are some tips for following up without being overly pushy or too generic?
No, that's a great question. Within scripting, and that one of the things, you've got to have a platform where you keep detailed notes on every call you've had with either this lead or even your own SOI, so that when you last reached out to them, what properties you're sending them and that kind of thing. I think it's fine for people. Hey, just wanted to check in, touch base with you, make sure I can be of service here. It's always good to have a reason. Oh, you know what? I was just out showing a property the other day, and I came across a house that I think would have been perfect for you. Having a house to put in front of them is always a good reason to kind of call and come up. And you don't always have to have that exact house, especially with how fast the market's selling. Oh, I walked through a house a week ago. I thought you would have really liked it. I know you're not quite ready to buy yet, but boy, was this house gorgeous.
Yeah, and as far as follow-up goes, it all depends on what their timeline is too. So if it's someone who's looking to buy in the next 3 months, you might be following up with them every single week, because they're going to buy, even if it's 3 months away, you're following up with them every single week. Hey, just sent you another property. Hey, do you have any questions? Yada, yada. And you're staying in front of them, because it's too easy for them to get maybe sidetracked at an open house with another agent, or somebody else is doing a much better job at following up than you are. And you could lose that buyer to somebody else. If it's somebody that is, maybe they're a year out, maybe it's a monthly phone call, and you're just touching base with them every month just to kind of see how things are. If it's someone who's maybe 2 or 3 years out, maybe follow up with them once a quarter just to say hi, and just say, I like to do, like, it's more of a customer service call. Just, hey, just want to check in. I want to give you an update on the market. I want to let you know what we're seeing here in the Valley, what's going on, where numbers are at. And it's a informative, valuable conversation that you're having with them. And I don't think it comes across too pushy. You're actually even talking, you're not talking about, hey, we got to get you in the car and go look at real estate right now. You're more just kind of sharing information about the market.
Yeah, and getting to know them a little bit too. And a lot of those people will maybe give you some inclination, but if not, we have some structure around, based on, we like to get that information of when they're looking to purchase and that kind of thing up front. And then based on that, we have a plan in place, whether they're a hot, a nurture, or a watch, our 3 different lead categories that we put them into. So, but it's a great question. Like I said, when you're calling more as a consultant, giving them some information, checking in, most people really like that, because you're just making sure that they know that you're ready to help them whenever they're ready. I always let people know I'm on their timeline. When the timing works for them, it's great for me, not before.
That's awesome. So for those of you that do want the goal sheet that they reference, please be sure to reach out to Dana. Her email is team@mojoscottsdale.com. And then did you guys want to still take some more questions, or were you?
If there are other questions, feel
you
free
kind
to...
of addressed this one, but maybe just drill down a little deeper on what type of messaging or talking points are you finding that you get the most engagement from right now?
I would say, so the great thing about the market being so hot is it's on everybody's lips, right? Especially like Christmas parties and everything else. People, if anyone who knows you're in the business, they're probably going to come up and say, "Oh man, how's the market?" Or
you probably can't get away from it.
Yeah, I can't believe how much my home is worth nowadays. They're potentially going to bring it up, especially if you hint or leave it out there that you are in real estate, because it's we're in that time of year where everybody really likes to talk about it. They want to be up to date on what their home's worth. And it's a great time as you're talking to people, say, "Hey, why don't I send you some of the stuff that's sold in your neighborhood? You might be really surprised. You might have a lot more, value in your house than you think." And so there's different ways to kind of put that in, but yeah, it's a good thing.
Yeah, I think if it's someone that might be listing their house, just kind of saying, "Oh, you would probably never even believe what your house is worth right now," or just kind of maybe hinting at the value and how much values have gone up. If it's a buyer, maybe you talk about how you still believe that the market's going to continue to go up, and we'll see another 10 or 12% appreciation next year, and now's a great time to get in before interest rates go up. So that there's lots of different talking points, but like Morgan's right. I mean, talking about the market because everyone's so interested in it right now.
Yeah,
it's an easy conversation to have.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of good things too that you can, and reasons to call. If you don't know, they actually just increased the loan limits going into next year in 2022. Now I'm going to forget exactly where they are. I think they're increasing it to 648 for a conventional loan. It was going to be about 630. Am I saying that right? Yeah, I think it's 648 is the new. So they added 20 extra thousand onto it, which still leaves it short in some areas of Scottsdale and everything. But at the same time, that's big. That's a $70,000 increase going from last year. So those conventional loan rates and that, I mean, it's honestly a reason potentially to call, definitely something to bring up, because most people don't know that going into next year, they can take a loan out for $650,000 conventional.
Any other questions, Dia? Oh, you're muted.
No, I don't see any more questions in there. I kind of had a question on, when you were talking about values and keeping on top of the market. What do you have, like, any resources that you would recommend to agents that they could stay focused so that they could stay current on what's going on in the marketplace besides just the MLS? So there's some other resources that you would recommend, like, hey, just to keep you current so that you are in the conversation and in the know?
Well, I know, Dia, that Rock Title sends out a monthly market update, so that's always helpful. But
we do, actually weekly, yeah.
Yeah, weekly, yeah. And
Yes.
But we're big fans of the Crawford Report.
Okay.
We think that not only reading, we subscribe to it and can go in there and read about what's going on and whatnot, but even going and listening to a presentation or speaker on the Crawford Report is great.
Yep.
Isn't that free? Doesn't through Armless, don't they get that as a perk?
Well, you guys have done some, and other title companies.
The confer report? Or is that
Yeah,
what it
the
was?
Comfort report. I do think it's part of, when they log in, I think that they can sign up for that, maybe.
Unless they put that back,
they did away with it.
it is a subscription service. It's about $300 a year. So it's not cheap, but it is, it is
Valuable.
expensible, I guess.
Yeah, it's a write-off.
Yeah, it's definitely a write-off for something to stay on top of it. But I do love like the emails that Rock sends out and that where you can stay on top of what's happening with the market. That's incredibly helpful.
Yeah, we do have that. I just have to sign you up for it if you want it. So you can email me if you want that.
Perfect.
One last question. I know door knocking has always been a go-to, but with COVID, people seem to be more hesitant now. What would you guys tell a new agent for that?
I'm still a big fan of door knocking. I mean, COVID, no, I mean, if someone comes to the door, you just take a couple steps back. We always say knock and then step back, no matter what.
You want to do that anyway.
Yeah, anyways, even before COVID, but you're still, a good 6 feet away or more, and you can still door knock. You can still, whether you're door knocking for an open house or, a new listing or whatever the situation might be. I think door knocking is awesome.
Yeah, especially when you have we think some of the best door knocking is when you are holding an open house in or around the neighborhood and you've got a real determined reason, or you legitimately have a buyer that is potentially interested in a house like that. It can be helpful, but it's just more of a friendly approach. But open houses have been great sources of business. Huge. There's not that many homes on the market. There's a lot of people out driving around, looking around. It's really your opportunity to connect with them. So if you're someone who maybe doesn't love phone calls and doing that as much, unless you know the person a little bit, do more open houses. Get out there and do more open houses. Get into those conversations and try to make some connections that way.
Yeah, we're big believers in when you're doing an open house, if it happens to be a slower day, maybe not a lot of people coming through, to be making those follow-up phone calls, to be connecting with your SOI, to be connecting with your leads and whatnot. And that way you're killing two birds with one stone. If maybe you only get a handful of people through at the open house and everyone's represented, then at least you've been making phone calls and being productive and you still won the day.
Yep.
Yeah, awesome. Well,
right.
That's it for the questions.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Tia. We really appreciate it. And, keep in mind, guys, we're always looking for a few good team members. And if you think that's something you may need or want, let us know. We'd be happy to sit down and chat with you. Otherwise, we do these about once a quarter, and I'm sure we'll have some great content for the next one.
Yeah, we look forward to seeing you guys again. We know 2022, there are some things to be aware of, but number one, get your mind right and keep the momentum going. Keep that momentum going. It's a great time. It's a great time to be in Arizona. It's a great time to be selling real estate here. There literally couldn't be a better place to be and be in the real estate business than here right now.
Merry Christmas, happy holidays. Thanks, guys. We'll see you guys soon.
Thank you so much. And we will be sending out the recording. So thank you guys, everybody. Merry Christmas, happy holidays. Enjoy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tia.
Bye.